Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
So, before we start, last night, you remember we asked you a couple of weeks ago, Joy, where you had gone. You'd gone to see Glenn Close in Sunset Boulevard. I went yesterday, and Betty Buckley was there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of amazing. Betty Buckley also did the show, and Glenn Close was extraordinary. Glenn is in crazy makeup. I'm just looking like me. And there's Betty Buckley. And listening to them talking about the music, you know, and how high it is. And Betty said, oh, I forgot how hard that song is to sing. I mean, it was just wonderful.
She's great.
She is.
Glenn, it's worth seeing. It's like a hap in New York.
If you have any time and you want to see a really good show, go see Glenn Close doing Sunset Boulevard. It's really good. It's really good.
And they pretty much stick to the movie script.
I love her. I mean, Fatal Attraction is my favorite movie of all time.
I saw that the other night.
You said that.
That is a cautionary tale for men who cheat.
Yes, it is. I make my husband watch it often.
Why, do you think your husband cheats?
No.
In case.
Just in case.
Preventive medicine.
See, I think preventive medicine is not always the best way to go. Because you put stuff in people's heads.
Oh,
but you put the bunny in his head, too. That didn't go well for that bunny.
Johnny plays that scene. The bunny
but it didn't go well for Glenn either.
True. That's true.
So
That's
I'm just
true.
saying.
Good point.
I'm just saying.
Suggestibility. That's true.
That's right. Well, speaking about the bizarreness of life as we know it, you know who sat down with Tucker Carlson last night, where he gave an update on his claims of being spied on by President Obama. Take a look.
When I say wiretap, those words were in quotes. That really covers, because wiretapping is pretty old-fashioned stuff, but that really covers surveillance and many other things. And nobody ever talks about the fact that it was in quotes, but that's a very important thing. But wiretap covers a lot of different things. I think you're going to find some very interesting items coming to the forefront over the next 2 weeks.
Every day is a nightmare with this guy.
I will just point this out. You know, when they redid Trump Tower, right?
Yeah.
When they put all the you know, the stuff in that keeps stuff from exploring through the windows. One would think when they retrofitted the building, if there were wiretaps in there or any kind of surveillance in there, they might have mentioned it earlier. But now, you know, he said it in air quotes. He said he did it in quotes, but that's not really what he was saying. He was accusing President Obama of wiretapping.
But he also said he was a bad guy.
Yeah, he said
a
all
sick
kinds of
guy.
stuff.
But also, he didn't use quotes in every tweet. So he used quotes in one. And Tucker Carlson, if you want to be called a journalist, you should have called him on that. But he did not, of course.
But the thing is,
a bunch of toadies
he talked about
there.
wiretapping, and now he's saying, well, I'm actually talking about a broader thing. My definition of wiretapping is to surveil your phone.
Can you bring that back up? I want to point something out. When he says this is Nixon Watergate, he's talking about wiretapping.
Yeah, and
he's not talking about, you know, what's happening in your microwave.
No, and the tweet above says tapping my phone. He said in the tweet above, tapping my phone.
It says
I mean, that's what he said.
Now, we're still waiting for the evidence that anything like that happened. We're still waiting for the evidence about these 3 million voters who voted illegally for Hillary. Okay, his new slogan should be, let's make America wait again. Because we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting for the evidence that he has none of. That's
We have spoken about the idea that he distracts us on one side and gets other things done. And one thing that really disturbed me yesterday was a bill that's going to the floor in the House this week that's called the Veterans Second Amendment Protection Act. Now, not many people can argue with what this is. This is about mentally ill veterans that have been deemed mentally incompetent.
Yes.
Air quotes, not the way
Well,
Trump
they have
uses them.
PTSD, a lot of them.
Long-term PTSD,
Right, yeah.
dementia,
Right.
schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And what happens right now is 14 retired admirals came out and urged them, please do not pass
not
this bill.
do this.
Because the other thing is...
What does the bill say exactly?
They want to give them
They
guns.
don't,
They allow
pretty
to
much
have-
they won't let the Veterans Affairs flag mentally incompetent, that's their language,
Yeah.
people from not getting firearms.
Yeah.
So the problem here is vets have a high rate of suicide. 20 vets a day commit suicide.
Yes.
2/3 of those are by a firearm.
Yeah.
So the stats speak for themselves, and right now the NRA is backing this, so there's going to be a lot of power behind this.
Yeah.
So I would urge all of you to call your state representatives, your senators, if you agree with this, which I find it hard anyone wouldn't.
Well, the NRA doesn't.
Well, and that's the power force right now. People are really frustrated with this bill, and this is the second one allowing mentally ill people.
And again, I would say to everybody, if you're not liking what you're seeing, if you're if you are a Republican in particular and you don't like what your representation is doing, you have the opportunity to change these people out. Because anybody who votes and says it's okay to give mentally ill people firearms, who sits back and allows that to be passed, I don't know if they're representing you.
They shouldn't be representing you. And you've got to call your state offices. You've got to call your legislators.
It has to come from within the party, though, because for people on the other side, when you have people on the left that come out and say, this isn't a bill that makes sense and you're talking about guns, a lot of times folks on the right say, well, you know, they page it as, oh, left-wingers don't care about guns. But if you have people within the Republican Party, within the right, well, you have one sitting right here.
But we have
so
the
it
power,
happens.
Jen. We have the power. The people have the power. Remember, it's we
100%.
people. People need to call their
I want to read that bill because this sounds concerning to me. I want to see what the language looks like.
Well, I don't have these.
Yeah, I want to see it because I think
you want to see the original bill.
Well, I want to see the bill that's being proposed.
Well, this is the second. This is the second one. This is the second time that they are saying it is okay for people with issues. Now, remember, Republicans always say, "Well, you forget about the mental health issues."
That's true.
That people have, you know, when they go in and shoot up something.
Yeah, that was their whole argument.
And they're cutting
that it's
funding.
not the guns, it's the mental illness, and then they give guns for mental illness.
For treatment. This bill has come to the floor before and been denied. It was brought about after the Virginia Tech shooting because the guy was deemed mentally incompetent. And the problem is that it stood up under George W. It stood up under Obama, so it had bipartisan support. But now the NRA is pushing really hard. The other regulation, not this VA one, but the original one they rolled back, was a result of the Newtown shooting and the mentally incompetent shooter. So these things don't really have a counterpoint unless you're the NRA.
Or unless there's language in the bill that for some reason allows it to be a slippery slope. I'm not saying there is.
No,
I'm not saying there is.
language. I have the exact language. What the NRA is arguing is that because these people are put on a list, and by the way the bill stands right now, they can at any point protest it and get their name off of the bill. The NRA is saying not everyone can get health care and mental health care
So they can't get off
or
of the
legal
list.
aid to get off of the list.
Well,
And they're also arguing
But that
privacy.
means they weren't treated for their mental illness if they didn't have health
Oh,
care.
they just want to sell guns. Why don't you just
No,
admit
because
it?
this is more than about guns. This is about a group of people who say every time there's a shooting, well, we have to start dealing with more mental health issues. It's the first thing they say.
cut out funding for
I
mental
understand that. But the point is, when you say you care about mental health issues, you cannot then turn around and say, let's give him or her a gun.
Well, they're doing it.
You can't do
they're
it.
doing it.
Well, that's why I say, get to your representatives, get to the people who are representing you, because they're doing this in your name.
And don't let
Whether
them.
you're a Republican or a Democrat, they're doing this. This is happening in our name.
Tell them you won't vote for them. That's all.
We'll be back.
Later, driven to distraction are wiretaps and tax returns taking your eye off historic policy changes that could impact your entire family. Tomorrow, it's the day we've all been waiting for. Friday! Oh yeah, and we're bringing you red hot topics. Plus, our political view heats up when conservative commentator Tomi Lahren brings her view.
Wait for that one.
Tomorrow on The View. Still ahead, American Crime star Regina King, and Dancing with the Stars Maxim Chermakovsky.
So you know who also got some bad news that he shared with the crowd at a rally in Nashville last night? Take a look.
A judge has just blocked our executive order on travel and refugees coming into our country from certain countries. The order he blocked was a watered-down version of the first order that was also blocked by another judge and should have never been blocked to start with. We're going to fight this terrible ruling. We're going to take our case as far as it needs to go, including all the way up to the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court's going to tell you the same thing.
Exactly.
They're going to look and make sure, listen, he may be able to get some sort of thing through, but he's got to do it under the law. And that's what people keep saying. You can't do this way. You've got to do it the way our Constitution says you have to do it. You have to talk to these. You can't just get rid of people because you don't like their religion.
Yeah.
You don't like their skin color.
Yeah.
We took care of all of that, D.
Well, that's what's so fascinating because, you hear him saying, this judge, turned it down. This judge, like all of the judges, all of the federal judges from different courts, different districts, are all wrong. Like I just don't.
Call them fake judges.
They're fake judges. I just don't understand it. And what was so interesting about all of the opinions, and of course I've read all of them, is that they all said, listen, you can't use this national security theory as a pretext. This is a Muslim ban, and the reason that it's a Muslim ban is because you said it was a Muslim ban. You said it was a Muslim ban. Giuliani said it was a Muslim ban. Stephen Miller said it was a Muslim ban. And when you look at interpreting an executive order or any sort of statute, what you look at is what the intent is behind it. When they told everyone that that was the intent, why didn't they think the judges would believe them?
Well, because they're stupid. But you know what? Not a single American has been killed on U.S. soil by citizens of any of the Muslim-majority countries affected by this order. Not one.
Yeah.
So that's
it's not national
the issue, though. The issue is the screening. The issue is the screening process, that those countries were identified, as the Obama administration did, as there's difficulty in screening those people that are coming in. Now, President Obama did not do this.
No.
However,
it's
he did.
unconstitutional.
There are issues with those.
What he did when he identified all those countries is they went in and tightened it up so that they would not have the issues that everybody was finding. Listen, this is exactly what we all say it is.
I disagree, though.
I know you do.
Can I tell you why I disagree,
yes,
though?
please.
Because there are a lot
You
of
disagree
Muslim.
with what?
First of all, the first ruling that he put out, I had a problem with.
The executive order?
The executive order. I thought the language was very vague. There were people with visas and green cards that were not exempt. They went in and they rewrote it. They removed Iraq from the list of banned countries. They exempted visa holders and green card holders. They removed a clause that arguably did favor one religious group over another. I don't have a problem with this because it's 6 specific countries. It's not.
Why
there are
isn't
plenty
Saudi
of.
Arabia?
You cannot discriminate against
Saudi Arabia?
somebody because of their
There are
religion.
plenty of Muslim-majority countries, though, that are not included in this, and the reason is that for countries like Saudi Arabia, the United States government cooperates with them on screening for Islamic terrorism.
That's where the terrorists came from, Jed, in 9/11.
But the government.
That's where they came from.
But the government cooperates with us. But you're not, the government, the Saudi Arabian government cooperates with the United States government because they are combating ISIS and Al-Qaeda within their own country.
I want to point out to you that a lot of the folks that were prevented from coming from Iraq were people who were working with us. And I want to also point out that what he did was he banned people who are American citizens, people who went through the process to try to become...
Not in this revised executive order.
No, but when you brought up the original ban.
Yeah, the original one was a problem. That's why he rewrote it.
But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that he may have rewritten it, but he hasn't changed the content.
And he hasn't changed the intent. And that's what the judges are looking at.
That's arguable, too, though, isn't it?
No,
because
it's not arguable.
But some lawyers, Alan Dershowitz, certainly not a conservative, going out and saying that the intent, when you go to the Supreme Court, it's not about intent, because then you could use anything anyone said about campaign. It's about the language of the actual order.
No,
that's
it's not about the language. You don't look at the language. You look at the intent behind the language. And let me tell, well, they're wrong.
And also,
let me tell you.
wait a minute.
We'll see. We're going to find out.
They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. And I would challenge anybody. I challenge anybody to tell me that.
Anybody. Explain why it's wrong.
This is why it's wrong. When you look at these executive orders in any statute, you don't just look at the four corners of what the language is. You look at the intent. Now, in reading intent, what do you look at? What people say. And Rudy Giuliani said Trump asked him to legally create a Muslim ban. Trump told Anderson Cooper, my friend, we can't allow people coming into this country who have this hatred of the United States. Islam. In a February interview, Stephen Miller, his surrogate, said, fundamentally, you're still going to have the same basic policy outcome for the country when talking about this new ban. What does that tell me? This is a Muslim ban
That's not what it does.
in a national security dress.
You can make, it's arguable that the original executive order would have had that impact, but the language of this does not. It protects people.
Why do you think it? Why do you think it is a clearer? It's clearer in this
How's the
executive
intent
order.
change?
For me, why is it clear? Because when you exempt visa holders and green card holders, when you remove language from the clause that specifically gives priority to one religion over another.
What I'm asking you is, what is now what he's talking about, the ban he's talking about right now?
Yep.
The
what is
new,
the intent?
the new
what is the
thing.
intent?
What's the intent?
What do you think the intent is?
I can tell you I have no idea what his intent is. All I care about is the language within the order and whether or not, as the executive, he can manipulate this language to hurt one citizen over another. And I believe that this language in this particular order protects people from Muslim-majority nations where those countries have proper vetting. And it does not protect people where they are not
on that
properly
list
vetted.
has proper vetting. That's what the Obama administration, that's why they created that list of countries. They then went in, hold on, because you can't just walk into America. You can't just walk in here. It's a 2.5-year process.
If you do it the right way.
Well, that's what most of the people have been doing. And those are the people that he stopped. He stopped people who actually did the work. That's the problem. And for me, you know, I know it's semantics, but whenever you put that thing where you're not sure what I know. You're not sure what you mean. You know, sometimes I say to you, I hear people say things and I'm not sure what it means. When I'm not sure what you're saying, there's a problem. And I'm not sure what he's saying because basically what he's saying is these people in these countries can't come here. That's a big swing. That's like
temporary,
saying, that's like saying all black people love chicken.
It's a temporary screening process.
If you know who is so worried about being spied on, there's a new device he may want to check out. It's called the Hush Me muzzle, which you can strap on to shield your voice from eavesdroppers. It's just a prototype. But I guess people, I would like to send this to him.
It would take care of all the leaks.
Do they have one for his hands, for tweeting?
One must ask themselves, what I'm saying on the phone is more shocking than this thing.
It's like a Terminator face.
I kind of liked it. I mean, you know,
Sonny,
I kind of liked it.
you liked it? You did not like
I mean, who hasn't been on the train or on the bus and people are having this full-out conversation and you're hearing every single thing? I would like a hush me on those people.
So when you're talking like this to everybody, should I get a little hush me for you?
Okay. Get a hush me for me.
But she has made my ears bleed.
I know.
Because this is the loudest Latina I've ever met. In my life. Latin women are not usually, but this one, because she's mixed. So she's like, oh my God. She's like, okay.
I know. I got black and Latin. I'm fired up.
Loud, girl.
Would anyone ever wear one of those?
I would wear one.
You would wear one?
I would wear one. I mean, especially as attorneys, like you're talking and everything is privileged. And
Sonny, you don't think it draws more attention to have that device on your face?
Whoopi says I need one.
I maybe not believe for a second Sonny would wear one, but think about the mark that's going to leave.
Sonny would make it
sunglasses leave a little mark here.
looks
That's
padded.
going to leave.
Sonny will wind up inventing a designer version of this.
I do like
it
fancy.
will match her
She'll have to
outfit.
put one of those sparkly
It also
things.
looks a little 50 Shades of Grey.
Sequins, yeah. What's that?
like
what
it.
is
Different
that
direction
when
with it,
people
It has padding.
they
It has
make
padding.
stuff on, they put sequins
have
on the
little-
pants.
oh, yeah.
Sparkly things. What is it called? What
Bejeweled,
they-
yeah.
Yeah, that's what she would have.
She's got the phone
Yes.
case with her
Yeah.
picture on it. There'll be a little Sonny on the side.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I
what
love
about
it.
this?
LP.
What about this? Because Jesse James, who used to be married to Sandra Bullock, is still getting backlash, I guess, for messing around on her, but he shrugs it off and says that men and women cheating is just part of life. He says some good came out of it. It helped him focus on making a better life for his kids.
Oh, yeah, he's so great. You know, the thing about this topic, he's saying that it's good for people.
Right.
And I thought about it because I don't think it's good for anybody. But the victim, actually, it's better for the victim because the victim learns and moves on, whereas the cheater is stuck with this dog that he was cheating with. You see? He's stuck with this person, and now she wants to marry him. He doesn't want to do it anyway. The victim is the one who gets the good deal.
Really?
And rarely do they transform themselves to not being cheaters if they've done it once.
Every woman I know who has been cheated on and divorced rises to the occasion. They get their PhD.
I think it's true for both sides.
Yeah.
Whoever needs to get out, gets out and goes big. We'll be right back.
Well, the cheater.
Hi, I'm Regina King, and I am about to hang out with the ladies in 240 seconds. So count them down with me. We're about at 2:37, 2:36, 2:35.
Regina King won back-to-back Emmys for playing two very different characters in the anthology series American Crime. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor because not only is she incredible to watch, they're going into their third season right now, and she's a social worker now trying to save victims of underage sex trafficking. Take a look.
How much did you get a turn, Shay? $50? $30? And then taking that money back to Billy because he said so? And where was he? Was he anywhere around? You tell me that that felt right to you, and I'll leave you alone.
I don't know how we fix it. Please welcome the really extraordinary Regina King, y'all. So I hear you've been working in New York lately, and you've been going to Rangers hockey games. Is that true?
Yes. I think I might walk out of here buying a Rangers cap. I gotta tell you.
Because I could hook you up. Your hands look cold. We'll go to some games.
Oh my God, so much
fantastic.
fun.
But you love all sports.
I love all sports, and I'm just getting into the hockey. So the Rangers are teaching me about hockey. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Now, since you've been in New York, I'm sure you noticed that the storm that came through here was named Stella.
Was it really?
Which reminded me a little bit about a film you guys were in. Stella Got Her Groove back in 1998. Tell us secrets. What do you remember about that?
I remember that I was bummed because I did not get any scenes with Whoopi.
Yeah, we didn't have any scenes.
Like that, really sucked to me. And then I didn't get to go to Jamaica.
They left you back home?
Yeah.
I got to go to Jamaica, and then I came back and died.
That's right.
But you got to go to Jamaica.
Was Jamaica?
Well, let me tell you what was walking around in Jamaica. Hiding in my shoe. This big, you could have ridden around on it.
No!
Could have said taxi, and this bug was this big. I'm just saying. You could have said taxi, the bug would have come up, and you could have stood on the bug and taken where you were going. I'm just saying.
Such a good movie.
Yes,
though.
it is a great
It was
movie.
such a great movie. Now, when you won your first Emmy, you took your son Ian as your date. We have a photo. But I hear the second time, it's so cute. But the second time you won, he wasn't able to watch it on television.
Our cable went out. Like,
Oh.
I paid my bill, though. Anybody that saw the first episode of American Crime this season. Anyway, yes, literally doing the last glam touches and everything. And he's like, Mom, what's going on with the cable? And it didn't come on, so he didn't get to see it live. So I had to call him.
Because you brought your mom with you.
I brought my mom.
That's nice.
That's fantastic. And I'm looking at your arm, and I'm told you have a similar tattoo to your son.
Yes.
Identical.
Yes. It's Hebrew, Aramaic. In Aramaic, it's phrasing. Hebrew's more like letters, not really meaning much, but it means something.
What does it mean?
Aramaic, unconditional love. We were taking Kabbalah classes, and he said, well, let's choose 3 each and not tell each other which ones they are, and whichever one that's matching, that's the one we're going to get a tattoo. And we both chose unconditional
That's nice.
love.
That's the most important thing of being a parent.
Yes.
Let's talk about the show a little bit, your show, American Crime. I'm a huge fan, and so is Whoopi. So we've been watching it from the beginning. I just think it's a great show. And the show takes on all these, as we noticed, sexual trafficking and everything, and undocumented immigrants. And your storyline is the sex trafficking. I'm wondering, did you do any kind of research for the part? Did you learn anything about the social worker who does that type of work?
Yeah, actually I did. I learned a lot about the system. I got a chance to get like a crash course from a woman named Terry Bright. She's a director of programs at a place called the Elizabeth House in LA. Yeah. And she basically let me, what she's doing is she's running the programs that when my character finds these kids, I place them at the Elizabeth House or places like that. So she just kind of told me how the system breaks down, how detectives and police officers work with me or don't work with me, how sometimes we have to protect the kids from, you know, everybody has ulterior motives. Everybody has a goal that they're trying to get to, and it may be good for the prosecutor, but not so much for the
It's a bigger problem in this country than we actually hear about.
It's a chronic problem.
It's a big problem.
It's a chronic problem, and we are able to bring this story.
It's so wonderful.
That's what you've been doing. You went from racism and, you know, with the football.
Bullying.
I mean, this is
social media, the dangers of social media.
Like important stuff,
all over.
It's all social commentary. It's really well done.
And the beauty of what John Ridley does is that he presents this story. He's not telling you what you should believe or that someone's right or that someone's wrong. He's just presenting this story, and you leave with it asking the questions of yourself that you need to ask.
It's Throwback Thursday, so I want to mention a couple of your other amazing roles. It's been 21 years since one of my favorites, Jerry Maguire. Our audience loves that one. 26 since Boys in the Hood. And who can forget you as Little Brenda Jenkins on 227? I'm sure. Now we have a clip we're going to show. Take a look.
Miss Clark.
Oh, call me Sandra.
Sandra. I was wondering if you could help me out on some advice about what to do about, man problems.
You having problems with the boys already?
Well, one boy.
One's fine. You want to start slow. Hasn't your mother told you all about this?
Well, yes, ma'am, but she's married, so she doesn't have much to do with men anymore.
What do you think when you see that? You were 13 years old. What do you think when you see it?
Thought several things. Let's just go with the positive one. You know, my voice is so high. Wow. And I see my son in my face there. And I think how blessed I am. I mean, 30 plus years and I'm here.
Amazing career. More to come.
I'll tell you what I see. I saw lots of little girls of color seeing you, thinking, I want to do that. That's what I saw when I saw that. Thank you for coming, baby. American Crime airs Sundays at 10 p.m. right here on ABC. Please do yourself a favor and watch this. We'll be right back.
Schmirkovsky, and I'll be waltzing my way over to the ladies right after this. Maybe I'll pass it over.
Happy 20th anniversary! Wow!
Congratulations, 20.
The big 2-0.
2-0.
Happy 20th.
No.
20! Big 2-0!
20!
I lost my virginity when I was 20.
Happy 2-0.
For real? And you still happy 20th.
Happy big 2-0, The View.
The View Season 20. Weekdays on ABC.
The bad boy of the dance floor is back on the new season of Dancing with the Stars, so hopefully his new baby is being a good boy and letting daddy get his rest. Please welcome Max Schmirkovsky. I did it! I married a Russian. I should know this, right?
It's a complicated name.
It is. Now, the huge news, which we kind of just mentioned, was you and PETA have had a baby in January, and a son named Shai.
Yes.
I had my first baby last year, and it was mind-blowing, and my world has still never looked the same. What was the experience like for you two?
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah. Your world goes like this.
We had a moment when he just came out, and I'm there, and she's like, "Don't look down." I'm like, "I'm not looking." I'm like, so now they put him on top, and so we both looked at each other like, okay, this is really freaking happening right now.
Yeah.
So it was all fun and games until it went down, and you just became a different person immediately overnight. All the things that I thought I was responsible. I thought I was, an older, wiser sort of like a person. Until you have a child, you're none of those things.
So are you one of those annoying daddies now? And
I am
pictures?
worse. I'm worse. Yeah. I wish I could show you my pictures.
Look at him. Doesn't look like you.
It doesn't. I hope it.
Are you sure it's yours?
I wanted him to look like me and have Peter's personality, but I think it's going to be the other way around. Upsetting.
It's adorable.
It's amazing. No, it's the best feeling in the world, for sure.
Now, Dancing with the Stars resumes on Monday. We're all very excited, but I have to address an elephant in the room. Your partner, Heather Morris, she's well known from the show Glee, but she's also a professional dancer. So people are in uproar about this. Is it fair? Are you cheating? Let's break it down.
Two professional dancers?
So, if anyone were to get Heather Morris, I hope it would have been me, and so I'm happy. But, the perspective that I put it in my own head just to kind of justify this is the fact that, the show is a platform for people from all walks of life to come on and to present themselves. For the first time in 24 seasons or whatever, someone from her profession comes in, and this is someone that's close to us. So it's like essentially a dancer was invited on Dancing with the Stars as a celebrity. I get it. We've had people in the past that had just as extensive dance background, but the pressure is going to be bigger. We're going to have to have more to do. We'll have to show,
I would think that it'd be harder on her in a way, that the judges would be harder on her.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she's the one telling me, don't put pressure on yourself. Don't. I'm like, I got this. I got it. I'm a father now. I got this.
You got it. Well, you have won a Mirrorball trophy, but PETA, your wife and your brother have won twice. So this season, your wife is dancing.
Did you see that there's also a little Mirrorball that the little guy
Yes, what is that?
Well, because she was 8 weeks pregnant when they won with Niall.
That's
adorable. So now he got one before even being born, and I only have one after 10 years of Dancing with the Stars.
Well, all of you are battling it out because now your baby has one. Your wife is dancing. Who has two? She's dancing with The Bachelor, Nick Viall. Val, your brother's partnered with Norman Corday from Fifth Harmony.
Yeah.
With all of you battling it out, who's going to win?
I hope I will. I hope. Listen, it's all fair game. We'll do our best. They'll do their best. Val is definitely on the height of returning champion, and you know. But Peter, I think, is the biggest story of the season so far. The comeback is just ridiculous. I see her every day.
Wow.
I can't not be. It's beyond how I imagined it, and what women go through, what you guys went through with having kids. I had no idea. I thought I was smart. I thought I was book read.
You just walked out?
I expected a lot of stuff. I did not expect all of this.
You're also, I hear,
They do
working
it
with...
different in Russia, I guess.
You're also, I hear, working with our sponsor, Swiffer, to help them
Yes.
celebrate their 18th birthday. Can you just tell us about
Absolutely. I've entered adulthood officially, although a lot later than Swiffer. We're celebrating Swiffer's 18th birthday this year. The products are incredible. When my baby was born and all the mess started to happen, and I couldn't step over it anymore, the first thing I reached for was a Swiffer.
I love Swiffer. We love Swiffer.
I do.
It's a great idea. It's the best.
That's what I've been missing out on with my baby.
You need to get a Swiffer.
I do, clearly. Our thanks to Max Schmirkovsky. Season 24 of Dancing with the Stars premieres Monday night at 8, 7 Central right here on ABC. And cleaning fanatics rejoice to celebrate their 18th birthday. Swiffer is giving members of our studio audience a suite of products. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow, Friday is on fire when fierce young conservative commentator Tommy Lahren puts the blaze in Hot Topics.
Hey, welcome back. Can we talk about your dress just for a second?
Mine?
Yeah, that's a really nice dress.
Thank you.
It's beautiful, and it's so...
I told him to buy it.
Yeah.
Someone grossly said, I'm just reading between the lines.
Who said that?
I'm not going to turn him in.
Sexual harassment. Sexual harassment.
And it took me about 7 seconds because I'm on a delay.
That's all right. Well, we weren't going to tell anybody, but it's all right. Hey, you know what? We want to say thank you to you all for coming out and hanging out with us today. We want to say thank you to everybody at home. We want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the view.
Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
So, before we start, last night, you remember we asked you a couple of weeks ago, Joy, where you had gone. You'd gone to see Glenn Close in Sunset Boulevard. I went yesterday, and Betty Buckley was there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of amazing. Betty Buckley also did the show, and Glenn Close was extraordinary. Glenn is in crazy makeup. I'm just looking like me. And there's Betty Buckley. And listening to them talking about the music, you know, and how high it is. And Betty said, oh, I forgot how hard that song is to sing. I was just wonderful.
She's great.
She is.
Glenn, it's worth seeing. It's like a hap in New York.
Yeah. If you have any time and you want to see a really good show, go see Glenn Close doing Sunset Boulevard. It's really good. It's really good.
And they pretty much stick to the movie script.
I love her. I mean, Fatal Attraction is my favorite movie of all time.
I saw that the other night.
You said that so
That is a cautionary tale for men who cheat.
Yes, it is. I make my husband watch it often.
Why, do you think your husband cheats?
No.
In case.
Just in case.
Preventive medicine.
See, I think preventive medicine is not always the best way to go. Because you put stuff in people's heads.
Yeah.
Oh, but she put the bunny in his head, too. That didn't go well for that bunny.
Johnny plays that scene. The bunny
but it didn't go well for Glenn either.
True.
That's true.
So
That's
I'm just
true.
saying.
Good point.
I'm just saying.
Suggestibility. That's true.
That's right. Well, speaking about the bizarreness of life as we know it. You know who sat down with Tucker Carlson last night, where he gave an update on his claims of being spied on by President Obama. Take a look.
When I say wiretap, those words were in quotes. That really covers, because wiretapping is pretty old-fashioned stuff, but that really covers surveillance and many other things. And nobody ever talks about the fact that it was in quotes, but that's a very important thing. But wiretap covers a lot of different things. I think you're going to find some very interesting items coming to the forefront over the next 2 weeks.
Ugh, every day is a nightmare with this guy.
I will just point this out. You know, when they redid Trump Tower, right?
Yeah.
When they put all the stuff in that keeps stuff from exploring through the windows, one would think when they retrofitted the building, if there were wiretaps in there or any kind of surveillance in there, they might have mentioned it earlier. But now, you know, he said it in air quotes. He said he did it in quotes, but that's not really what he was saying. He was accusing President Obama of wiretapping.
But he also said he was a bad guy.
Yeah, he said all
sick
kinds of
guy.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
also, he didn't use quotes in every tweet. So he used quotes in one.
Yeah.
And Tucker Carlson, if you want to be called a journalist, you should have called him on that. But he did not, of course.
But the thing
These
is,
are a bunch of toadies
he talked
over
about
there.
wiretapping, and now he's saying, well, I'm actually talking about a broader thing. My definition of wiretapping is to surveil your phone.
Can you bring that back up? I want to point something out. When he says this is Nixon Watergate, he's talking about wiretapping.
Yeah, and
he's not talking about, you know, what's happening in your microwave.
No, and the tweet above says tapping my phone. He said in the tweet above tapping my phone.
It says
I mean, that's what he said.
Now, we're still waiting for the evidence that anything like that happened. We're still waiting for the evidence about these 3 million voters who voted illegally for Hillary.
Right.
Okay, his new slogan should be, let's make America wait again. Because we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting for the evidence that he has none of. That's
We
right.
have spoken about the idea that he distracts us on one side and gets other things done. And one thing that really disturbed me yesterday was a bill that's going to the floor in the House this week that's called the Veterans Second Amendment Protection Act. Now, not many people can argue with what this is. This is about mentally ill veterans that have been deemed mentally incompetent. Air quotes, not the way Trump uses them.
PTSD, a lot of them.
Long-term PTSD, dementia, schizophrenia. And what happens right now is 14 retired admirals came out and urged them, please do not pass this bill. Because the other thing is...
What does the bill say exactly?
They want to give them guns.
They don't, pretty much they won't let the Veterans Affairs flag mentally incompetent, that's their language, people from not getting firearms. So the problem here is vets have a high rate of suicide. 20 vets a day commit suicide. 2/3 of those are by a firearm. So the stats speak for themselves, and right now the NRA is backing this, so there's going to be a lot of power behind this. So I would urge all of you to call your state representatives, your senators, if you agree with this, which I find it hard anyone wouldn't.
Well, the NRA doesn't.
Well, and that's the power force right now. People are really frustrated with this bill, and this is the second one allowing mentally ill people.
And again, I would say to everybody, if you're not liking what you're seeing, if you're if you are a Republican in particular and you don't like what your representation is doing, you have the opportunity to change these people out. Because anybody who votes and says it's okay to give mentally ill people firearms, who sits back and allows that to be passed, I don't know if they're representing you.
They shouldn't be representing you. You've got to call your state offices. You've got to call your legislators.
It has to come from within the party, though, because for people on the other side, when you have people on the left that come out and say, this isn't a bill that makes sense when you're talking about guns, a lot of times folks on the right say, well, you know, they page it as, oh, left-wingers don't care about guns. But if you have people within the Republican Party, within the right, well, you have one sitting right here.
But we have the power, Jen. We have the power. The people have the power. Remember,
100%.
People need to call their
want to read that bill because that sounds concerning to me. I want to see what the language looks like.
Well, I have these.
Yeah, I want to see it because I think
you want to see the original bill.
Well, I want to see the bill that's being proposed.
Well, this is the second. This is the second one. This is the second time that they are saying it is okay for people with issues. Now, remember, Republicans always say, "Well, you forget about the mental health issue."